everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's session of Know It Series 4.2. My name is Babita Dhandas, student of PhD in first year of Gondwana University. First of all, I would like to welcome all the faculty members and professors of PGTT English, Dr. Shilpa Athwade ma'am, Dr. Pramod Javre sir, Dr. Vaibhav Mishram sir, and Assistant Professor Atul Gavaskar sir. And last but not least, as the student and participant. Today is our sixth session, and our speaker as Prashant Jabhunkar sir. Sir is assistant professor and English at Manohar Bhai Patel College, Sakoli, district Bhandara. He has been working as assistant professor since August 2007. He has published many research papers in UGC care listed journals. He is pursuing PhD under the guidance of Dr. Vivek Joshi sir and Gondwana University, Gadchiroli. His area of research is subaltern theory, and they have a topic Techno-Criticism. Now for the further discussion, I would like to invite Prashant Jambulkar sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Babita. A very good morning to one and all. Honorable Professor Dr. Vivek Joshi sir, Head Department of English, PGTT Gondwana University, Gadchiroli. Dr. Masram sir, Dr. Javre sir, Dr. Athole madam, Professor Gavaskar sir, the anchor Babita, and dear students. I feel delighted to be invited as a guest speaker on this platform. I'm happy to be here. And the topic I have chosen for this lecture is Techno-Criticism. Okay, sir, Gavaskar sir, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So let me repeat, the topic of my lecture is Techno-Criticism. As we all know, today we are surrounded by technology. From a smart watch to rocket science, everything we from the moment we rise up and till the moment we go to our bed. So we are using this technology, and we all are now techno savvy. We can call us techno savvy because right now we are also using this technology. The PGTT has organized this lecture, online lecture, and right now we are using this technology. So this techno criticism is a new field of field in literary criticism. Let me share as PPT. Uh, is the PPT visible, sir? Hello, Gavaskar sir.
Hello, sir. Yeah, visible, sir. Yeah.
Is it visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Go ahead, sir.
So, techno-criticism is a new field in literary criticism. In this lecture, we will study the origin, the basic concepts, various literary terms, techno-critics, their views and opinions, forms of techno-criticism, hypertext, techno-critical narrative, and reading and hypertextual analysis and narrative. The objective of this lecture is to understand what techno-criticism is, the origin of techno-criticism and its impact on the industrial and digital technologies and on literature and criticism as well. In the past few decades, technology has proliferated. The use of technology has also increased drastically. It affects the lives of people and changes the way they learn, think, and communicate. It plays a major role in society, and now it is very tough to imagine life without technology. Both technology and society are correlated, codependent, co-influence with each other. Technology has an impact on society, including the potential for society to progress or decline in both good and bad manner. Our society is shaped by technology, which has both beneficial and harmful consequences. So let us know the basic terms. What we say, a person having good knowledge and understanding of modern technology, especially computers, smartphones, and gadgets, are is called techno savvy. We call ourselves, if we know that he is techno savvy, she is techno savvy. So techno savvy, we call them techno savvy. So today's generation is known as, again, the next term is Gen Z. It is referred to the people who are born between 1995 and 2010. And I think the students who are attending this program, this online lecture, they are all maybe called Gen Z. The Z stands for Zoomer, as this is the first generation known to zoom the internet. Technology is defined as the body of knowledge that deals with innovation, invention, and application of technical means, as well as their interrelationship with life, society, and the environment. Or, in other words, technology means the use of scientific knowledge to achieve some specific goal or create applications that are used in industry or in everyday life. So, if we are using some scientific knowledge to achieve some goal, means we are using technology. The term technology comes from the ancient Greek techne, means art, skill, craft, while logos means word, utterance, saying, or expression. Technology is defined as the application of scientific knowledge to the practical aims of human life, or as it is sometimes phrased, to the change and manipulation of human environment. So, what is techno-criticism? The development of computer technology and the new versions of text, that are electronic text to be read on screen. Right now, you are doing the same. That is electronic text to be read on screen. You are seeing, viewing it on a screen rather than in print form. What we say, that is hard copy or print form in book form, have had a drastic impact on traditional literary studies. The age of hypertext, you must, that is the text on the screen, simulation, computer aided design, and virtual reality requires a whole new theory of reading itself. Techno-criticism is the result of these developments. Techno-criticism is a branch of critical theory devoted to the study of technological change. Techno-criticism treats technological transformation as historically specific changes in personal and social practices of research, invention, regulation, distribution, promotion, appropriation, use, and discourse, rather than as an autonomous or socially indifferent accumulation of useful inventions, or as an
Prashant
uncritical.
sir,
Okay,
sorry to interrupt you, sir, because the
okay,
slide you explained are not visible on the screen. So
okay.
could you please assist in resolving this?
Uh, okay. I'm once again sharing the screen.
Yes, sir. Now it's visible.
Is it visible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now it's visible.
Okay.
Go ahead, sir. Continue.
So shall I repeat this one or shall I go ahead?
No, sir. Go ahead,
So
sir. Go ahead.
okay. So let me repeat this. Techno-criticism is a branch of critical theory uh, devoted to the study of technological change. Techno-criticism treats technological transformation as historically specific changes in personal and social practices of research, invention, regulation, distribution, promotion, appropriation, use, and discourse, rather than as an autonomous or socially indifferent accumulation of useful invention, or as an uncritical narrative of linear progress, development, or innovation. Techno-Criticism studies these personal and social practices in their changing practical and cultural significance. Techno-Criticism documents and analyzes both their private and public uses, and often devotes special attention to the relation among these different uses and dimensions. Recurring themes in technocritical discourse include the deconstruction of essentialist concepts such as health, human, nature, or norm. Criticism of technology is an analysis of adverse impact of industrial and digital technologies. It is argued that in all advanced industrial societies, technology becomes a means of domination, control, and exploitation, or more generally, something which threatens the survival of humanity. Techno-criticism, in fact, came into being in, so let us see the origin when it was originated, and when techno-criticism was originated. Uh, in fact, came into being in response to the digital age marked by technological changes, particularly new media ecology, which had serious bearing on the printed world or literature to the extent that some would perceive it as a threat to conventional narrative. Techno-criticism can be juxtaposed with a number of other innovative interdisciplinary areas of scholarship which have surfaced in recent years, such as techno-science and techno-ethics. A critic who studies the effects of technology are called technocritic. Some figures engaged in technocritical scholarships and theory are Donna Harvey and Bruno Latour, who worked in closely related field of science studies, and Catherine Hale, who works in the field of literature and science, Phil Agri and Mark Poster, who works in intellectual theory, history, Marshall McLuhan and Frederick Kittler, who work in the closely related field of media studies, Susan Square and Richard Doyle, who work in the closely related field of medical sociology, and Hannah Arendt, Walter Benjamin, Martin Heidegger, and Michel Foucault, who sometimes wrote about the philosophy of technology. Donna Harvey and Catherine Hale have contributed considerably uh, in technocritical scholarship on science studies and literature and science, respectively. Prior to them, Walter Benjamin and Michel Foucault also wrote, even though marginally, about the philosophy of technology. Even today, their perceptions are upheld by technocriticism scholars. There are two forms of technocriticism. First is descriptive and second is prescriptive. So descriptive form of technocriticism is, let us see the first descriptive form. Technocriticism as a critical theory remains mindful of the changes in technological arena alongside their impact on the socio-cultural practices. Technocritical discourse challenges and deconstruct essentialist understanding of notions such as human and nature. Technocritical theory can be either descriptive or prescriptive in tone. Descriptive perspective regards to the physical existence of technology in the text, that is related to physical existence of technology in the text, and includes some scholarship in the history of technology, science and technology studies, cyberculture studies, and philosophy of technology. In other words, Descriptive form merely focus on how and when technology is being used in society. So it focuses on how and when technology is being used in society. That is descriptive form. Next is prescriptive form. Of techno-criticism can be found in the various branches of techno-ethics. For example, media criticism, infoethics, bioethics, neuroethics, roboethics, nanoethics, existential risk assessment, and some various versions of environmental ethics and environmental design theory. Prescriptive form will answer the questions why. This form uh, partially concerned with technoethics, which matters the advantages and disadvantages, the moral and ethical aspects of applying technology in society. Technocriticism, however, employs a more objective scope in both literature and reality by examining a given text work from descriptive and prescriptive perspective. Then let us see the next term, that is hypertext. So technocriticism is a new literary theory which aims to study, explain, and explicate the hypertext, that is text on electronic devices such as computer, smartphone, or smartphone. Hypertext is defined by J. Bolter in writing spaces as a network of text which allows the reader to choose any path and all paths are equally valid. So I'm repeating the definition of hypertext. It is a network of text which allows the reader to choose any path and all paths are equally valid. Hypertext do not aim at reaching a destination. It doesn't take you to any destination. The art of tracing and navigating is itself the object. The text and the reader therefore exist in the in-between zone of transformation and navigation. In the technoculture of present age, we have become cyborgs, means robotic and bionic implants. And the realization of this truth has given rise to a critical perspective known as technocriticism. It is an acceptable fact now that technology has deeply penetrated our culture, of which literature is an important component. Consequently, with the advent of computer and internet, literary studies have undergone tremendous change, which according to Bolter, has made the present age the age of print because texts are gradually taking the forms of hypertext, which is expressed in Writing Space published in 1991. The hypertextual environment characterized by post-structuralist sense of in, inter, interminacy, multivocality, and plurality alongside the postmodernist sense of fluidity, contingency, discontinuity, fragmentation, and non-linearity determine the scope of technocriticism as a theory which bends the benefits from various approaches, perspectives, and methods to study or stay critically watchful of unrestrained velocity in today's hypertextual environment and cyberspace, not only to reinterpret but also to repurpose literary mode of communication. The development of computer technology and the new versions of text that are electronic text to be read on screen rather than in print form has has had drastic impact in traditional literary studies. The influence of technology has always been visible in science fiction. The availability of online shopping, fiction, chat shows, journals, and essays on the web The age of hypertext simulation is copy or replica, computer-aided design, and virtual reality requires a whole new theory of reading itself. Techno-criticism developed as a mode of interpreting new versions or forms of literary text as e-literature, e-text, hypertext, blogs, and diverse media writings alongside electronic and digital literature. The newer version of literary text changed the notion of textuality. Techno-criticism school investigates the origin and advancement of technology as well as how these discoveries really impact human society. Humanities generally held the view that technology has enhanced human existence in a variety of ways and that it has allowed people to construct societies that fit them. Douglas Schuller, in his work Techno-Criticism, based on his study on the subject, asserted that technological systems are often portrayed as nearly miraculous solutions to problems, both real and imagined. Modern fiction studies devoted a special issue on articles on techno-criticism and hyper-narrative in 1997. In fact, the writings of Catherine Hale has Chaos Bound and Michelle Joyce bring together cyber studies, literary and cultural studies. Techno-criticism views text non-conventionally as it no more follows beginning, middle, and end sequence, paving way to text that may be rearranged, transferred, and restructured on screen. Even the comments on the arrangements and rearrangements of textual items may be displayed simultaneously anytime alongside viewing other text. The technocriticism as a theory views text as a network. Technocriticism as a theory views text as a network or city of text, as mentioned in Michael Joyce's in Of Two Minds, Hypertext, Pedagogy and Poetics, published in 1994. The reader is returned to the same lexia or same unit again and again in the branching narrative. Hypertext, having opened the possibility of a seemingly absolute flux without ever craving to reach the destination. It is the art of tracing and navigating, which itself is the object or point of consideration. The lexia or units are in arbitrary succession, disjoint and irregular. The text and the reader therefore exist in the in-between zone of transformation and navigation. Likewise, computer codes, program languages offer flickering signifiers on screen, and global command can rearrange the whole text, proving the arbitrary relationship between the signifier and the signified. These two terms are used in this deconstruction, that is signifier and sign, signifier and signified. So these terms are also used in this technocriticism also. So uh, we says there is the whole text proving the arbitrary relationship between signifier and the signified. Computer codes program languages offer flickering signifiers on screen, and global command can rearrange the whole text, proving the arbitrary relationship between the signifier and the signified. One can go back to a link, undo it, or recall any lexia at will, at his will, his or her will. Taking cue from Jayashree Odin and Jay Bolter, Nair observed that the text can mutate itself instantly and the reader is a part of textual topology. The gap or in between spaces are the sites of potential where the reader may inscribe his or her body subjectivity, articulate, and also interrupt as she or he travels along the paths. Michael Joshi wrote in the online journal Postmodern uh, Culture that hyperfiction is the first instance of the true electronic text, what we will come to convince as the natural form of multimodal, multi-sensual writing. He finds it hard to decipher what it actually is. No fixed center, there is no fixed center for starters and no edges either, no ends or boundaries. The traditional narrative timeline vanishes into a geographical landscape or exitless maze with beginning, middles, and ends being no longer part of the immediate display. Instead, branching option, menus, link markers, and map networks, there are no hierarchies in these topless and bottomless network as paragraphs, chapters, and other conventional text divisions are replaced by evenly empowered and equally ephemeral window-sized blocks of text and graphics, soon to be supplemented with sound, animation, and film. So, technocritical narrative and reading. In recognition of the arrival of New Age, modern fiction studies brought out a special issue on the subject in 1997. The work of Catherine Hayes, especially in Chaos Bound and published in 1990, and Michael Joyce, has been located at the interface of cyber studies, cultural and literary studies. Michael Gould's Enduring Words Literary Narrative in a Changing Media Ecology, published in 2009, is an attempt to relocate and repurpose literary narrative in the contemporary times characterized with digital and technological innovations. The study of narrative is undoubtedly the most fascinating area in technocriticism. The essential features and assumptions of technocriticism in relation to narrative and reading are summarized as follows. Okay, so this technocriticism in relation to narrative and reading are summarized as follows. Uh, Gavaskar sir, hello, Gavaskar sir.
बोला बोला बोला.
Sir, is this okay? Okay, thank you. Okay. So the first part is categories and notions like text, narrative, and linearity need to be rethought. The text is no longer a linear narrative with a logical beginning, middle, and end. Various parts of text may be transferred, sequences rearranged, added to and subtracted, commentaries, other text and notes may be displayed, thus altering the way a text looks and is read on screen. At the click of the mouse, the reader may switch reading material, refer to an encyclopedia, compose or mark his or her comments, as we do on internet surfing. If we get some more information, we click on the next, and again we go for further reading. This we do while surfing or while searching on the network, internet. Next is the reader is now a network. Now reader has become a network or a city of text. The reader is returned to the same lexia over and over again in the branching narrative. The reader scans a particular passage, word, or image. Thus, what the text should give you or what the text means is already in the reader's mind when she or he clicks on the keyboard or mouse, reading and rereading a section of the text or configuration of the text itself. As a result, the body of the book is now a problematic concept. The now it has become the what we say configuration of the text. The new form of text is available on the screen. Uh, Next is the change that occurs in narrative is that from a closed, linear, univocal, unauthoritative, authoritative aesthetic, which renders the reader passive, to one which is multivocal, open, hierarchical, and non-linear, and which is based on active encounter between the reader and the text. There is an active encounter between the reader and the text. This new aesthetic is what Jayashree Odin terms net or hypertext aesthetics. The reader can create his or her own narrative in the space of virtual reality. Interactive fiction, screen, and drama are examples of this. New pathways and solutions are offered by the reader or viewer who is now a player. The reader or viewer is again termed as a player. This is an intensely visual activity where the writer organizes a shape to the image, but which the reader reshapes on. The reader reshapes the text. Uh, Next, internet chat rooms and interactive dialogues suggest a whole new mode of reading. The solitary nature of reading and writing is no more available to us. Hence, the definition of reading space requires redefinition. The simulation and virtual reality is not obliteration of the ob- obliteration of the object of representation. Rather, simulation, or which we call replica, brings the object into reader. A new topology or configuration develops. This is full of gaps and in between spaces, which provide the potential for the reader's articulation and being with active participation of the interruptions or gaps. The hypertext creates virtual spaces. Michael Joyce suggests two forms of spaces. The spaces or gaps are called, there are two forms of spaces as per Michael Joyce. Exploratory, in which we read, where readers create their own paths, which is called exploratory, through a body of knowledge. On the web, readers mark visited and unvisited site by changing the highlighting colors of queue material. Destination codes for link are also displayed. Hints about where else to go are available. All this radically alters the way. In the exploratory hypertext, the reader still remains in the recipient local audience mode, with distinction remaining intact between the what the author does compared to the reader. And second part is constructive hypertext, where writers collect, shape, and act upon information and create visual maps of structures that anticipate what they are becoming. That is, they write a structure of something that does not yet exist. In constructive hypertext, the reader is accorded ample space to interact with, connect to the hypertext, thereby responding to it. In constructive hypertext, the reader is accorded ample space to interact with, connect with the hypertext, thereby responding to it. The space is kept open, wherein the possibility of readers' participation by way of responding or commenting. Hypertext do not aim at reaching a destination. There is no final destination. The art of tracing or navigating is itself the object. The reader is expected to navigate or trace. The lexias or units are in random sequence, fragmented and discontinuous. The text and the reader therefore exist in between the zone of transformation and navigation. The computer codes, program languages are involved in presenting certain flickering signifiers on screen. A global command can rearrange the text in its entirety. Thus, the relationship between the signifier and the signified is entirely arbitrary and temporal. One can retrace a link, undo a link, or recall a lexia. The text can mutate itself instantly. This leads to a reflective body writing, where the path the reader traces is materialization of her or his subjectivity. The reader is thus an integral part of the topology. The gaps are the sites of potential where the reader may inscribe her or his body subjectivity as he or she travels along the paths. Then hypertextual analysis and narrative. In the age of hypertext, simulation, computer-aided design, and virtual reality, a whole new theory of reading is required. Techno-criticism is thus important, but needs to be realigned with literary and cultural studies and cyber studies to analyze rapidly changing contours of literary narrative in the age of new media ecology. It is imperative to relocate a literary text or narrative and understand its changing contours in the context of new media multiplicity in a rapidly changing media environment of today. Literary narrative has already been pushed to the edge in post-death of the author or text scenario wherein notion of author text reader stands multifariously appropriated because hypertext, electronic textuality, and electronic fictions, along with their multiplex modes of production, to work out intricately layered relationship between literary text and newly arisen cultural phenomena called e-literature that comprises electronic literature, digital literature, and new media writing. Techno-criticism as a mode of interpretation that enables to rethink literary text or narrative in the hypertextual environment characterized by multiplicity, discontinuity, fragmentation, and multilinearity. Having moved far from its univocal and closed aesthetic character, literary narrative space has now become multivocal, open, non-hierarchical, and non-linear on account of constant interaction between the reader and the text. Being virtual in its form, hypertextual reading, to be more precise, tracing or navigating, is devoid of an object as it is journey as navigation, which constantly keeps shaping, reshaping the object temporarily, transiently on account of the fact that the whole process is marked by Derridian deferral, which at one level impedes the uh, penultimate signification, at another paves the way for other significations infinitely. In hypertextual environment, it is the reader or navigator on, the, on whom the responsibility lies to read and or navigate. The lexias placed arbitrarily, randomly, in a fragmented and discontinuous manner. Series of lexia in hypertext fiction in a random sequence produce a textual surface that is fragmented and discontinuous so that no one two readings of such a work are similar. In the hypertextual environment, the viewers or readers do not disperse along the information superhighway, but they are active decoders of the path that they create in a proprioceptive act, and means being stimuli where inside and outside combine in a shape constituted of moments of textual embodiment and disembodiment. Sir, am I audible? In hypertextual space, the issue of construction of the narrator or reader through radically new mode of reading is crucial. Catherine Hiles insightfully observes in her article on virtual bodies and flickering signifiers that the construction of the narrator as manipulator of codes obviously has important implications for the construction of the reader. The reader is similarly constituted through a layered archaeology that moves from listener to
Jambulkar sir,
reader
1 minute. Prabodhi,
uh,
Prabodhi, please mute yourself. Now, Prashant sir, you can continue.
okay. Uh, so Catherine Hale insightfully observes in her article on virtual bodies and flickering signifiers that the construction of the narrator as a manipulator of codes obviously has important implications for the construction of the reader. The reader is similarly constituted through a layered archaeology that moves from listener to the reader to decoder, because codes can be sent over fiber optics essentially instantaneously. There is no longer a shared stable context that helps to anchor meaning and guide interpretation. Like reading, decoding takes place in a location arbitrarily far removed in space and time from the source text. In contrast to fixed type print, however, decoding implies that there is no original text, no first edition, no fair copies, no holographic manuscripts. The literary text or narrative which signifies a fixed or static printed text contravenes the textual fluidity in the hypertextual culture, wherein keep authors keep gathering information and shaping it up to something that is yet to come into being. Reader too trace their own newer paths, but the context that constantly keeps emerging takes the whole discourse beyond issue pertaining to continuity and discontinuity, thereby rendering the notion of context itself obsolete and redundant. Odin, however, suggests that it would be better to understand hypertextual spaces as an always emergent context of embodiment marked by novelty and creativity. Thus, the readers reading in the hypertextual environment are engaged in a reflexive body writing characterized by moments of textual embodiment as well as disembodiment as they trace their own unique path through the view of multiple text. So this is about the techno-criticism. Let us come to the last part of the this lecture. That is the summing of our concluding. Benefiting from literary theories such as structuralist, post-structuralist, deconstruction, postmodernist and cultural studies, techno-criticism aligns itself with cyber studies and literary studies to be able to provide us with tools and strategies to deal with this newer phenomena wherein literary narrative and its criticism have shifted from printed word to online mode due to media multiplicity. Techno-criticism as a theoretical mode of interpretation stays choicelessly aware of the changing contours of literary text or narrative in the hypertextual textual space so that it can efficaciously negotiate with this unique environment. It can be aware that uh, consequent upon multiplex developments, innovations in cyberspace and internet, conventional way of viewing literary text narrative has undergone radical change, particularly because the reader is of paramount importance in today's textual topology. Techno-criticism is portrayed as the development and popularity of technology in the society, which is one of the core reasons for the nature's transformation. In reality, the human usually applies technology for their own interest without doubting its effects on the society. More innovations in cyberculture will see corresponding developments in technocriticism. The relationship of the potential of cyberspace to subjectivity, post-colonialism, race and gender issues are now being tackled. Without a doubt, this is one of the most exciting areas of critical theory today. Technology does not always serve the human ethically. Eventually, the overuse of technology can indirectly or directly lead to the imbalance of nature and contradict with what people should value in society. I think I have made some points clear to you. I hope you understood what I tried to tell you through this lecture. Over to you, Gavaskar sir. Uh, if there are any questions, students may ask.
ठीक है. Sir, I have one question.
Okay,
What is hypertextual environment,
text.
sir?
Hypertextual environment, what we say, hypertext means the text which is seen on the screen. Okay, and the and whatever we are reading on the screen. Okay, and whatever we are creating in your mind, or the reader, the writer wants to create in your mind, and that may create environment in your mind, that is called a hypertextual environment.
Thank you so much, sir. Mhm.
Hello,
uh,
sir. You explained about hypertextuality. So I want to ask, what is intertextuality? Are both are related to each other?
no, intertextuality is a different term, and hypertextual is a different term. Uh, Intertextuality, when we find some traces of one text on another text. Am I right? Do you know about intertextuality?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. And hypertext is a different thing. Hypertext is text seen on the screen. Okay, it takes you from one place to, for example, you are searching any information on Wikipedia, so or any other site. You know, there is a blue text where you click and other information opens. Okay, so you text you to take you text it takes you to another text. Okay, so that is different thing. It gives you a the other information. So intertextuality cannot be compared to hypertextuality.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Sir, I have one question, sir.
Okay.
Now, techno-criticism is related to linguistics.
Yes, it is related to whatever we see or read on the screen. It is related to every part of literature and language also.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, you are not audible. Oscar, sir.
Thank you everyone for joining this session.
Before, uh, 1 minute. What is your name, Babita? Before you conclude, let me say something. I express my sincere gratitude to Dr. Vivek Joshi sir and Dr. Masram sir for inviting me over here as a guest speaker. I feel privileged as a part of this lecture series. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, and thank you all of you. I hope I made some important point clear to you. Thank you. Now you may continue. Over to you.
Thank you everyone for joining this session and giving me opportunity for hosting today's session and connecting with me. Now I hand over this session to Prabodhi Nivasare to vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, sir. I am Prabodhi Veskade. I am a second year English of PGTT English second year of Gondwana University, Gadchiroli. We have reached to the end of today's session of NOET Series 4.0 2024. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude to our chairperson of the program, Dr. Joshi sir, organized a very beautiful and effective session for us. I am extremely thankful to today's speaker, Prashant Jambudkar sir, Manohar Bhai Patel College of Arts, Science, Commerce, Sakoli, for giving us guidance on techno-criticism. So thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful session. I would like to extend my gratitude to the PGTT of English organizing team of NOET Series 4.0, Dr. Vaibhav Masram sir, Dr. Shilpa Athavale ma'am, Dr. Pramod Zavre sir, and Mr. Atul Gavaskar sir for the wonderful arrangement. I would like to thank all the participants of today's fourth session for attending and your cooperation for being the major part of there. Nextly, I would like to thank today's session host, Babita Bhalavi, and thank you everyone for giving me this opportunity. Thank you so much, everyone. Now I would request everyone to group photo. So switch on camera, everyone. Please switch on cameras, everyone. Everyone, please switch on their cameras. Karishma, Preeti, Satyanarayan, Vaibhav sir, Zavre sir. Thank you so much, sir. I declare today's session is over.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Vaibhav sir, can I leave? Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes. Okay, Prashant sir, you are leave.